Good morning, and finally, after 6 weeks, we do have a breakthrough. And what does it have to be? The Bryan Mbeumo deal is kind of getting to a here we go when you're not really paying attention, when you're flying in the air, or when you're out and eating dinner and the news breaks out, and I become slow sports news. But anyway, I'm so happy to hear the deal for Bryan Mbeumo is getting to the finish line, as the third bid has been submitted finally by Manchester United, meeting the Brentford demand of 65 million fixed and 5 add-on, leading up to the 70 million package, something that Brentford always said they wanted. So why did Manchester United not sort of adhere to what they wanted? Well, it was pretty much a positioning on power. They wanted to sort of see like, oh, we can get this deal on 55 plus 7 add-ons, leading to the similar valuation what they did for no other than Wolves Cunha. But anyway, the deal should be accepted within the next couple of days, 100%. But why did it take it so long? I mean, this saga drag out, and a lot of people were guessing. A lot of journalists was guessing. Nobody really knew what was going on. Even David Ornstein to say the deal is miles away, but enter the deal breaker, actually, ironically to say, Newcastle. Hello, Newcastle is the sporting director of Manchester United, apparently. And I'm going to tell you why. This is Mick Ruby from MUFC Rios TV having my reaction regarding everything that went down with Bryan Mbeumo yesterday, as I was not live, or I was not being able to do a video recording. So stick around with me, like and subscribe, and let's go with this story. Well, it all broke down that, the breakdown between Newcastle and Hugo Etiquette, that deal was broken down, as the player said, I only wants to play for Liverpool, and Liverpool was trying to threatening them as well, to say, well, if you are not going, like, to let us have Etiquette, we will go and get your, Alexander Isak. And this is weird. So Newcastle dropped the ball and decided we're going to go for Johan Wissa from, Brentford, and that is a cheaper alternative. Now, this made Manchester United absolutely shit the pants, because they thought they had a position of power, that they will get this deal. But Johan Wissa, Newcastle, that is a deal that could be done like this on £30 million. Seriously. And if that would be happening, I think that Brentford would be hesitant to actually sell Mbeumo, even if they had this lengthy conversation, the long dance with Manchester United for the past 6-7 weeks. So that, I believe, is dropped the ball for Manchester United to actually put the money on the table. Ironically speaking, Man United always had the money to pay for Mbeumo. They always had it before even the new PSR financial year started. It was there, but it was more of displaying that we will not budge, we will not overpay the evaluation. But the question is, who was in the right and who was in the wrong? You can't blame United for actually trying to get a deal on their demands. But however, you see players going like Anthony Elanga for 55 million. You see Liam Delap and all these strikers going for the similar price. And Brentford was thinking, well, hang on, Wissa is the better player. Fair play, He scored 20 odd goals. He's probably one of the best strikers in the Premier League or forwards. We want more money. And United tried to bully them. They did. However, Man United is not in the positioning of strength to do that, in my opinion. Let me explain. We finished 15th in the league. Brentford finished higher than us. We needed the striker. They were not willing to let him go unless they got the right price. So this dropped yesterday, and I would surprise if Brentford denied this, if they declined this. There'll be mugs if they do, because they got what they wanted. 65 million fixed in terms of how the installment's going to make, and the 5 million in add-ons. So what the 5 million will be in terms of the add-ons, it could be anything like, attainable add-ons. If we make Champions League, if Bryan Mbeumo scored 20 goals, if Bryan Mbeumo marries Margot Robo, X, Y, Z, those kind of things. But add-ons is never sort of calculated in a deal, because that is kind of a fantasy figure. That is what if. It's a little bit of a gambling. It is more the fixed fee, what clubs are focusing on. So how many installments could that be done in? 3, 4, we will see. But however, here we go is most likely to happen within the next couple of days, because Ruben Amorim is pushing for him to be part of the US tour. And according to reports, Bryan Mbeumo also said that this is a fair price and Brentford should be accepting. So far, we haven't heard any reaction from the Brentford side, but I'd be surprised if they absolutely turn this one down. That'd be shambolic. You know, that'd be really frustrating if you say, no, we want 70 now, right? So we will see what happens. But a lot of journalists, a lot of people out there think that this deal should be happening, shouldn't be a problem. And why is it so? Because at the end of the day, they're most likely going to lose out on Wiz as well. So they need money to sort of quickly rebuild the squad as the Premier League kicks off in 4 weeks, to be fair. Now, let's park this in the one. But I just want to sort of summarize things that Man United never does it easy, right? They set the eyes on the price, which was Mbeumo. They were not willing to budge. They were not willing to go for any other target until they got this one over the line. Now, when this is over the line, we will most likely see Man United attacking the striker position and absolutely the central midfield. Is this the deal that can now trigger for Manchester United to actually make a formal official bid for Richard Rios, which has not decided his fate as of yet? We've seen that Roma has put in a third bid on 27 million plus 3 add-ons, leading up to 30 million total package. Well, Palmeiras is saying we want 30 fixed guarantee plus add-ons. So Man United need to hurry up and put the money on the table for Richard Rios. Otherwise, it will be adios amigos in a certain way. But what is the striker position? Who is the mystery striker? We've seen the AC Milan have now inquired regarding Rasmus Højlund, so we will see what that will happen. But however, more and more reports, and my suspicion is that Manchester United are pivoting towards Benjamin Sesko. Why? Benjamin Sesko, of course, we saw was heavily linked with Arsenal over the summer, but it was Andrea Berta playing both Sesko and also, you know, Gyökeres that most likely will become an Arsenal player. What's going on with Sesko is that is genuine links for him to join Manchester United. Will it happen? Most likely at the end of the window, and I'm going to explain why. Sesko has always been on Manchester United's radar for the past 2 years at least. His agent, Elvis Bosanovic, has had numerous conversations with Manchester United over the years. He also spoken to Chelsea. He's also spoken to Arsenal as well in the Premier League, just to find the best club for Sesko. Now, Sesko back then wasn't really ready. He was a development striker. So what happened to Sesko is that he decided in January not to go anywhere. Manchester United would definitely look at him together with Arsenal, but he decided he's going to fulfill his season at RB Leipzig and leave in the summer. And here we are. He got snubbed by RB Leipzig and absolutely under Berta for Arsenal. So he's willing to play for Manchester United without Champions League, according to the reports. Now, even David Ornstein was saying back in April as well that, you know, it's so difficult to understand Manchester United's target, but one to watch is definitely Benjamin Sesko. He's always been on the list. So I believe, if in my wildest belief, is that Man United will pivot towards trying to get a Benjamin Sesko over the line. And the beneficial part of this deal is Christopher Vevell, our recruitment director, who has excellent relationship with RBL Group. He used to be the recruitment director for RB Leipzig Group. So is there something that we can utilize Christopher Vevell's excellent negotiations and talent and relationship with RBL? Well, yeah, we will see. But could we do this deal in installments, right? Could we meet the demands of 70 million, right? Can we? Or can we lower this down to 60? We will see. Anyway, this is a far-fetched, but I believe after this Bryan Mbeumo situation, we will see Jadon Sancho out of the door. Hopefully we get Rashford out of the door. What's going on with Anthony? Nobody really knows. So it's going to be a very interesting couple of weeks ahead. I think that now we will pick up pace. You know, you will see action because Manchester United refused to move without getting the Mbeumo deal over the line. And that tells you that Mbeumo is a key figure in the Amorim system. And from there we can build on. Anyway, guys, let me know in your thoughts and feelings what you think about this Mbeumo saga. Was it right? Could we have just killed this deal earlier? And now we're playing catch up. Do you think that Benjamin Sesko could be a Manchester United target player, striker. Let me know also what you think regarding that one. Anyway, I'm sorry for this delay reaction. I wasn't able to do a video recording yesterday as I was out. As I was saying, typical things happen when I'm not around. So anyway, it's been Mick Ruby trying to wrap things up under 10 minutes, and I got 1 minute extra time. We do love a little bit extra time, do we? Like and subscribe, and we shall see you live to the next time. Glory, glory, Manchester United. I'm out of here. See us. Bye.